going to give it to you straight about Jason. His body was never recovered from the lake after he drowned.
Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed. It's got a death curse.
Some folks claim they've even seen him.
What are you doing on this mess?
The girl who survived that night at Camp Blood, that Friday the 13th, she claimed she saw him.
Boy, is he dead too?
So what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm JeffMan316. Obviously, I'm your pop culture reporter. That's me on the sign there, because JeffMan316 Live is where we talk about pop culture, talk about physical media while watching along to a movie, usually Sunday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. We've watched along to all the Friday the 13th movies, so in this video, we're talking about Friday the 13th, the original movie, celebrating its 45th anniversary, birthday, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to believe it's been that long. I'll go ahead and tell you, I didn't start with the first Friday the 13th when I was a fan. I remember watching, I think, Part 4 was one of the first ones I remember watching on late night cable and actually getting hooked on it. And then going back and watching the other ones. And that was like 1984. So I was like 13, when that came out. So I didn't see any up until Part 6 in the theater. So I was always catching them on late night cable. You catch them on HBO or Cinemax late at night. The first time that I bought Friday the 13th was on VHS, and I bought this version here, and I'm going to tell you about it, and then I realized I should have bought a different version. This is the version that I bought. Looks fairly inconspicuous, but here's what you need to watch out for right here. You see where it says Gateway up at the top, and it's got that yellow box, and it's got that rating down at the bottom. This is the Canadian release. I think it's Canadian. Don't hold me to that. But it is in like SLP mode. Like they would, record 6 hours worth of stuff on a tape. So it's very little tape on it because it isn't the best quality. It's actually pretty shitty quality. And but I kept it because it was the only one I had. But then later I did find the official, not the first release, I'll tell you about that, but one of the first official Friday the 13th in one of my local video stores used for sale. It's in really good condition. So the difference being this one has Paramount logos on the front, and you see on the back, it doesn't have all of that rating and everything on there. Paramount logo right there on the spine. It doesn't have that Gateway logo. This is recorded in what they would call like SP mode, where only 2 hours of a movie can fit on the tape. It's a lot heavier, so watch out when you're buying used copies of that. But I don't have one of the most rare versions. Those gatefold, I think is what it's called, releases that Paramount made was the first release, and it sells for lots of money, hundreds of dollars. If you don't know what gatefold is, maybe I'll do a video of that later and describe it. But those are my first versions. I obviously graduated to DVD, and I'm not going to bore you with all that because I've done a Friday the 13th video where we've talked about all this stuff. We're just talking about the first movie, and I'm going to just show you some unique versions of that I have. I don't have a lot, but it's just to celebrate, the anniversary. So we started out, with Blu Ray, and so I've got the Shout box. I've got those, tins, all the stuff that everybody else shows you. These are a couple of unique Steelbooks that I know Planet CHH has shown on his channel, and I'm going to show them on mine. This is Friday the 13th. And this is, I think, a foreign release, probably UK, by the rating there. They actually got some gore on the back. I'll go ahead and take this out. This is pretty cheesy because if you look at the front, what does that have to damn do with Friday the 13th? I have no clue what that has to do with him. With Jason, because he's not in it. So, and that's obviously not Mrs. Vorhees. It's got a little piece of ticky-tack. The back basically just has the damn pier. And if you open it up on the inside, I'm not going to take it out, but it's basically her laying in the boat. This is one of the laziest Steelbooks, but it was one of the first Steelbooks I ever bought of Friday the 13th. I thought it was pretty unique looking. So it's more like just a display piece almost. I don't even know if it's what region code it is. I probably would never play it. I more or less got it because of the front artwork just looking so cheesy that I couldn't believe it was the first Friday the 13th movie on a steelbook. And yeah, I'm struggling to get it back in the case, but don't worry.
That's Bush. Bush League. You hear me? Andre! Look at me!
But there's another similar to that this is a Mondo steelbook, and once again it's foreign. What does this have to do with Friday the 13th? It's the first movie. Is that supposed to be like his mask, or is that supposed to be Mrs. Voorhees' face? And why do they have the ratings on this slipcover that's on there? So it ruins the aesthetic of it. Why would that be made onto the cover? And here's the cover before I remove it. But I like the concept of it being in the forest. Those are almost like the eyes and nose. But Jason doesn't have the mask in it. And look at the inside of this. What does this have to do with Friday the 13th?
Oh, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's true.
Once again, now I don't have this in a protector because it's got its own little slip cover. So you go down the line and you're like, okay, well, another Blu-ray that I've got. I'm going to show you this one. You would think this is probably Friday the 13th Part 3 maybe, Friday the 13th Part 4, Friday the 13th maybe, the new one that came out, the 2009. Look at this slipcover that I got at Walmart of the Blu-ray. You would think it's one of those other movies, but no, look. It's the original Friday the 13th, uncut. I didn't open it because I already have the Shout, Scream Factory set, and I already had this similar cheesy cover. I mean, look at it. I'm assuming that's supposed to be Mrs. Voorhees, Pamela Voorhees, with the sweater, kind of ruining it. But what in the holy hell does this have to do with the original Friday the 13th? And what is he wearing? A biker's jacket? What is going on? Look at that. So the back cover is kind of cool. So 3 releases there that really have nothing to do with the original movie as far as the cover artwork. Now I'm just go through these really quickly, but to show you that I do double dip. The 40th anniversary, they ended up releasing a Blu Ray steelbook, and some of this will show you how lazy they get. Now I like it because it's got the original poster artwork on it, and it's kind of plain. It doesn't have anything blocking it. And then on the back it says, "Kill her, mommy, kill her." And then on the inside it's got the lake, but with a boat. But what do you know? Along comes the 4K steelbook, and in order to make you double dip, they release it with a slip cover with the big eye on it. And I like that because I've got the soundtrack vinyl that matches that, and it's got a J card on it. And if you remove the J card, it's got its ticky tack on it. It's got her in the boat on the back. So I'll remove the slip cover and show you that ultimate laziness, a 4K release. If I could get it out of the fucking slip cover. That's tight.
Tight.
The 4K literally looks just like the Blu-ray. Now come on, now you could have done something different. How about the back? How about making the back different? Now I don't want this to turn into a rant. But look, even the inside, it comes with the 4K and the Blu-ray, and the damn inside's the same. Lazy. So they've got this killer franchise, pun intended, and as they were releasing the movies, they couldn't get it any better. They just copied from the Blu-ray and made the 4K. Now, then obviously, because I liked the look of it, the aesthetic of it, I ended up buying the movie with the slipcover. And then the back is similar to the Blu-ray. And then they don't give you anything, so the carpet does match the drapes. So for a movie as iconic as the original Friday the 13th, I was hoping that they would, have some better releases, at least for the first 4, maybe the best ones of the franchise. So what about you? What other ones have you bought? What other versions of the first Friday the 13th are out there? Let me know of some that the cover artwork does not do anything to match the movie. What the hell's going on? And why be so lazy with the domestic releases? So I love the original poster artwork for the first movie. The second one, a little lazy, but I've loved some of the other ones. I think one of my favorites is part 6, 7, and 8. I love those poster artwork. So at least they started off with good artwork. And speaking of starting off, I know you've heard the story, but I just like to say it and tell people in case they don't. I love the origin story of the original Friday the 13th, to where the only thing they had originally was the concept of the title, Friday the 13th. They put the ad, I think, in Variety, basically advertising it to drum up investors, and then they had to come up with the script and the concept afterwards. So originally it was just a title, Friday the 13th. So I thought that was kind of cool. That was ballsy. I don't know if people could do that nowadays. Just wanted to let you know, some people are like me. They double dip. I'm trying not to do it quite as much, and they buy some of these things. Let me know some other ones that you've bought, some other versions of Friday the 13th. And like I said, I got plenty of other DVDs, and I got all the sets that everybody else talks about, so I didn't want to water this down and extend it out. I just wanted to show you a few unique ones and let you know about the ones that I've bought. So hopefully you'll like the video. If you do, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that normal YouTube stuff. I really appreciate all the support you guys been giving me. If you are a subscriber, thank you. And if not, please consider subscribing if you're a first-time viewer. I love you guys checking out my content. If you do subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the notification bell and you'll know when I post new videos. So we love horror here. We talk Friday the 13th. We talk about anything else you guys want, especially, like I said, on the live streams. So come over and join us there. So until next time, boys and girls, this has been JevMan316. As always, I'm your pop culture reporter, and I'm signing out saying, you guys be safe out there.